And we're live. Just making sure my mic works. It does. Yay. Welcome to Salisbury Anarchy. We're in year 508. We're moving towards the end of it. And we're going to quickly say hello to the cast. We have two Thomases that will be fixed. I forgot that broke last time. So I will fix that right now while we're talking. But in the meantime, why don't we talk to Thomas 1 and then we'll get to Thomas 2 later. We will start with Thomas.
Indeed, our name is Thomas. Tonight we will be playing Sir Edrich of Winterbourne, Stoke, Baron of one of the places, and questionably Marshal of Salisbury, though that position is currently held by another player in his stead, newly returned to his home after a quest.
Indeed. We'll go to Mark next.
Hello, my name is Mark, aka The Gets Me Out, and today I'll be playing Earl Florence of Devon, also known as Ascalon of Stoke. And
I honestly thought...
Here to...
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was saying he is here to do some traitorous things around Salisbury.
When you said also known as Ass, I thought you were talking about, I thought you were going to give him some kind of title. And I'm like, it was in the meta enough where I'm like, I'll own it. What are we giving him here? What's his new title? Ass colon? Yeah, indeed.
Ass of Salisbury.
All right, we will go to Liam.
Yeah, speaking of the Count of Ass, I'm coming for the Count of Ass. I want his goddamn money. He owes me for capturing him fair and square. I am Liam. I play current acting Marshal Virgil of Devices, Baron Virgil of Devices, and possibly some other characters we'll see. But I very much am looking forward to resolving. I unfortunately had to miss the last session, and Virgil was in an interesting place beforehand, so very much looking forward to seeing where we go.
Indeed. All right. Well, it seems that I'm forever stuck with... Now we got two Zachs. It's just going to be a thing, all right, guys? And
but I was ready to be Thomas too.
Hold on. We can fix this. Here we go. All right, you can be the man with no name tonight.
All right. The man with no name, also known as Zach, also known as Thomas too. I'm here to play Sir Hugon, who's gotten himself into some more trouble, it seems, trying to hook up with the major force, fighting back the Saxons, and was rescued by a mystery figure, the Black Dog. And that's where we left off.
Indeed. Yeah, so that's important information for Liam, and we kind of did a bit of a detail. Do you want to just give Liam that overview, Zach, since he wasn't actually here?
Yeah. So Perin saw how cool Hugon was and was like, you know what? Here's my mercenary army. You could do whatever and restore Newton Manor to its glory. Something like that. It may have went more like Hugon rolled a botch on a battle roll as he was fighting he caught up back with Virgil's force, I believe, with a group of knights. And he ended up getting captured as the Saxons were being routed. However, a very competent band of mercenaries freed him, and at the head of that group was the Black Dog.
Black Dog.
And I think we noted that Hugon has heard stories of Perin, primarily due to, I believe, maybe his father. I think it was his father having a grudge against Perin, or his mother. I mean, both of them are kind of very intriguing and probably told Hugon all kinds of stories. But so Hugon recognized Perin kind of because this one has an arm when he shouldn't. So
there's the same guy, just remarkably similar.
So there's a lot of question marks, and Hugon is very confused and intrigued as to who this person is.
Exciting.
And did you get a crit? Am I remembering that? Did you crit on recognize? I feel like you did or something. That's why we were like...
I got a crit on intrigue, I think.
Oh, right.
Wait.
Right. It was a crit on something.
Something.
Yeah, he succeeded in a recognize. I think there was a crit somewhere else, but I'm just looking at the rolls that were made.
It's okay. So we're gonna pass this torch first to Hugon, because we didn't really see Hugon get a lot of on-screen opportunity last time, and we ended with him. So Who would Hugon like? Which Liam would Hugon like to talk to?
I want the two Liams to talk to each other as Hugon watches with popcorn.
Let's not do
No.
that.
I think realistically, being rescued by the black dog, I think he would want to talk to the black dog first before returning to Virgil. I am sure there's some distance between him and Virgil at this point compared to him and the black dog.
It's fair. All right. So, and that's probably true. So why don't we pick up with that scene? So very first scene as we go in. Before we set the scene, I forgot to say this is Pendragon. We are playing version 5.2. We are 1 year away from version 6th edition, if you're familiar with that. We are cutting over in the next age as we close out Anarchy. So with that, we will begin this scene with Hugon and Virgil, or Hugon and the Black Dog, rather, on the road back to Sarum after successfully defending against Saxon raids. Liam and Zach, take it away.
So I imagine, I guess, how's the hospitality of the Black Dog
The
mercenary crew?
That's a great question. I feel like I could check that as a passion even. Let's see. 14.
14
It's okay.
hospitality. And what's his generous?
It's close to famous. Generous is quite high. Oh, generous is not as high as I thought. 14.
Do you want to test generous? It's a C?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a success in generous.
All right. So I would say relatively hospitable. Not above and beyond what you'd expect on a battlefield.
Okay. I mean, despite that, Hugon will readily accept some food and drink. He is a bigger guy, and it's been a long battle. Lots of riding, lots of fighting, and so he probably has stuffed his face a little bit. But he is looking, or at least maybe waiting for an opportunity to talk to the leader of this crew. Maybe it took some time to recover from the battle, since he is a leader of this mercenary crew, and I'm not sure how many knights Hugon is still with, because he was fighting with some, and maybe he got separated because of his role.
Yeah, that's true. I think you've been separated from your conroys. They're probably with Virgil. Yeah, you probably have a few defending knights with you, and that's about it. Like people you were in charge of, but
I'll say for sure too that at some point, Percy would come and check on you and see how you're doing. Perhaps whether it's on the road or at camp, whatever makes the most sense for Bob.
We'll say on the road. Well, you can do a camp scene because you've been on the battlefield, so maybe this will be a slow march back to Sarum. So let's do a campfire scene. We haven't had one of those cozy moments in a long time.
In that case, I think Percy will roll up with two of his whoever's top dogs now. He had heavy losses last year, but he'll kind of smile. Are you feeling any better, Sir Knight?
I am, much thanks to you. And Hugon will stand and reach out a hand to clasp. I must admit, I must have lost my head a little bit there in the fighting once it got intense.
Not your head, Sir Knight. Perhaps your mind. But that happens to many. Happens to many indeed. I trust your wounds are not bothering you as much. We don't have many resources to spare, but I'd like to make sure you're comfortable.
Not at all, really. And Hugon looks over his own body. It's probably battered and bruised, but he's been quite lucky when it comes to wounds so far. Most of it is small things that'll heal in no time at all. A quick question, Liam. Did Percy shake hands?
That's a great question. Yes, I think he would have shook hands, And he would have specifically, even if you had held out, a specific arm, he would have held out the arm that Perin lost. And then if he needed to switch, he would have been like, oh, and then switched hands.
Yeah, I think Hugon intentionally hit the arm that would be required for Percy to use his special arm.
Clever bastard.
He is Jareth's kid, so. And it feels normal, right? Like that arm isn't some metal arm or some ghost arm or some.
He even when he's at camp, he's usually wearing light armor. So it could be that his gauntlets are just a little bit firmer than the rest, but it does sort of feel like metal. That doesn't feel impossible, though.
Okay. I think Hugon pauses for a second as he looks over the camp. You have quite the ensemble here. I've been talking to a few of your knights and men-at-arms, and quite impressive. I'm assuming your work takes yourself all over the island.
Indeed it does. What's your impression of my men? Beyond that they impress you?
Well, they are rough around the edges, but they know how to eat and how to drink well. And I can appreciate that one over there knows a few interesting games with bone dice. Played a few, lost a couple coins. That's fine. It's fine. But
They fight almost as well as they eat and drink as well. But, of course, you already know that. No, I mean for you to give something deeper. Something that shows that you've been paying attention. Not something that anybody could glean after a minute or two, but something that someone could only glean from being with these soldiers. I suspect that you already absorbed more than you let on.
oh, perhaps I have. But why does it matter so much to you, my opinion?
Well, being truthful, we're always looking for new recruits here. My soldiers, my men, they fight for more than just coin, more than just glory. Fight for a future. That's hard to do as a mercenary, where you're following the direction of war and bear no loyalties to any singular lord. And yet, they do so all the same. A life like that provides casualties, requires replacements.
Fight for more than coin. This group here. I mean, the definition of a mercenary group. Granted, I am quite new to being on the battlefields, and perhaps it's my lack of perspective, but most of the mercenary crews I've heard of, well, that is why they fight, is for coin, and hence given the title of mercenary. But you say you fight for something more.
I think every man who finds themselves on the battlefield fights for something more, whether they know it or not. I've learned after a long time of conflict that nobody risks their lives for something as immaterial as some coin. It's always about something more. Can I ask you, Sir Hugon, what it is that you fight for?
I fight for quite a fair few things. First and foremost, for our lord and land and my family. The Saxons, quite quite literally are invading into Salisbury. And they're striking at our hearts, so I don't think I have much time to fight for much more than those three main things at this point. I have other aspirations, of course, but there's no time for that. Not anymore.
I believe that a lack of time is something of a illusion, but I do not intend to bore you with talk what-ifs and philosophy any more than I already have. I just try to remain curious about those who stay with us. You are not a prisoner here, you're an ally, in need of some assistance, and thus you can leave whenever you like. But should you find cause to stay, perhaps someday your aspirations do not need to remain so distant.
Perhaps. And Hugon sort of nods and crosses his arms for a second. I have many duties to fulfill as heir to my manor. And as much as anyone might want to escape the downsides of such a position, I am duty-bound to fulfill it. I'm the last one.
I wasn't aware of that. I'm sorry to hear that.
It is just life here now. So there's not much to be apologizing for. Plus, I think Hugon can't stop himself from smiling. Plus, I'm sure you know a thing or two about it. The responsibility. The weight on the shoulders.
Burden of leadership is often one that bears its weight, yes. Though I have found myself more and more as I age, feeling that weight lifted by faith. Even today, it's a hard thing to trust in something that you can't see or understand, or even at worst, that all evidence points to the contrary, and yet feel that there would be little else for me if I didn't. And so, my faith remains. Do you consider yourself a religious man, Sir Hugon?
I never took too much to the inside of the temples and churches. I always held out a bit more for the land itself, I suppose. My family even keeps an old artifact of a grandfather's grandfather. It goes way back. It's more of a pagan thing now, the spear, but
Interesting.
I'm not sure what it is or the names behind it. It's always been quite an interesting object.
So I may grace your manor with a visit sometime. See it for myself. Quite a fan of history. Though I will give you this. We have found more and more that God does not exist in stone. Stonework, not in wood craftsmanship, not in all the gold, jewels in the world. I think you're right, either directly or indirectly, that God is of the land and of the people. one way or the other.
Most definitely. Without the land and the people, there are no temples. No one to stack stone upon stone. But speaking of the land, and before I turn in for the night, what about... And Hugon's going to kind of lean in and make sure no one else is really too close. What about your stone upon stone, Percy? You have, just as I have, a manor.
Well, all knights once had a place to call home, certainly. But God is of the land, Sir Hugon, and of the people.
I think Hugon got to choose on that thought for a second. I guess a small smile and nod. I think that's enough for Hugon. I think he's not going to push it further. It's clear that Percy doesn't want to talk about it, and this crew just saved his life, so he's not going to be an asshole when he's here. So,
What do you mean by that?
That's fair.
what do you mean about abandoning your house and your duty, just like my asshole uncle who went off to fight Saxons in some faraway land?
Hey, you be careful talking about your asshole uncle. That guy's my favorite. I named my firstborn after him.
Really? Yeah.
Show this
Yeah.
person I've never met some respect, or you'll face the back of my real hand.
That's the one that died near Ascalon, right? Actually did. He died in Cornwall. All right. So we're going to quickly kind of check in with Edrich and Florence now, who they were up to something when we ended. We had aside from finding out that Florence's son managed to get knighted without Florence's consent, we also discovered that Florence has a little bit of insight into what the Praetor seeks to do next. And the two did exchange conversation there. So the question is, as we move towards the end of summer and into fall, what are we doing here? Is this something where the two of you are together at the moment? Or is this divide and conquer as per the rest of Anarchy so far?
I think the last time they talked to each other in that castle, they were kind of playing up we're on opposite sides, and this is one step too far. Officially, Florence is an enemy of Salisbury. Unofficially, through their various network of spies, Edrich would be willing to help look for the bastard daughter of Uther that the Praetor is hunting.
Okay. So
I could tell you this. Florence's plan is to find the bastard daughter of the Praetor and then bring her somewhere, either his home in Idmiston or his home in the Axe, and then notify Sir Virgil Sir Percy.
Yeah, you better be careful. You better be careful notifying Sir Virgil of shit right now.
Notify Sir Percy and Sir Edrich when it happens, and then sending out essentially rumors that she is there to see if we can catch the Praetor off guard. Essentially using her as bait.
Well, let's check in with Edrich, who's also aware. Is this something where you're working with Florence, or is Florence going rogue on this one in hopes of being successful?
He's willing to work with Florence. If Florence is like this is something I must do myself, Edrich will shrug and work on it his own.
That's what I'm trying
No,
to
it worked.
Yeah, it's a question for Florence.
Working with Edrich.
Yeah,
Behind the scenes, of course.
indeed. So yeah, we're working together to consolidate resources and figure out where things are. However, we're not meeting at feasts because we had a public shouting match And also, we're treating him as a spy.
Exactly. Oh, also, Florence has instructed his brother.
Rhodri. We're gonna start with Rhodri,
Rhodri,
anyways.
yeah.
Yeah. So before
He
you,
basically told Rhodri to go back to London. To find the bastard daughter.
okay, let's start with that 753 because Rhodri didn't pay very good attention to who these folks were while he was there in the feast. So you can make an intrigue roll at 7, a recognize roll at 5, and a heraldry roll, a courtesy roll at 3. Let's go.
Okay.
Good luck, buddy.
So first is intrigue.
Nice.
13. What was the other one? Awareness or heraldry? Or was it just awareness?
Awareness involved, recognize roll.
So awareness and recognize?
So no awareness roll was called for.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just
Recognize at 5 or above.
I'm going to be rolling heraldry because that's the one he has. But it is recognized. Wait, have we... we don't think we've done
Rhodri
that
hasn't
yet.
cut over.
I think
No.
it's confusing.
We haven't done that.
Oh.
In 5.2, they're still separate.
Was recognized as higher. Ooh, but it's a failure in 18.
Okay. And courtesy at
And
3.
then- Oh, bare failure.
Okay. So what do you recall Rhodri recalling about this whole situation?
Rhodri doesn't know who... I don't think he knows who the bastard daughter of Uther is, but knows that she's in London. More than that, he doesn't actually know the specifics. Or if he did, he's forgotten it.
Yep. Okay. So the only one you did succeed at with Rhodri is intrigue. I
Yeah.
think Rhodri has memories of London, but there was a lot of time spent grilling targets, mostly Saxons. And so those early days of being in London are kind of lost to him. As you go about trying to discover who's what and what's where, you do learn that Duke Corneus has recently passed away. And so another old duke of the times of Uther has passed, another war hero, and someone really
Really dead
responsible
duke.
directly for returning London. And lastly, probably one of the only Logres lords that could have tried to make a claim for Logres, aside from, the royalty. All that leaves pretty much is Ulfius. So focusing in on the mission, you have a general sense of how old Uther was, and then guessing that this would be Uther and someone else that gave birth to this, or assuming that's the case, you would look for a woman who could be, what's the year? Is it 508? 508 minus 465, or 485, 495 rather. So absolute youngest they could be is 13 years old.
Yeah.
Right. You would assume that
Between
they'd be
13 and 25.
35. That's the problem.
35.
Yeah, like
13 and 35.
yeah, like it would be a difficult run. You managed to hear about an old concubine of Uther's who's been stowed away in the White Tower, which is somewhere you spent a lot of time snooping around, but you can't for the life of you sort of identify any key figures that would call out to you directly.
Right.
You remember helping a couple of ladies escape in the early days of the siege. That's all you got.
Yeah. His response to both Florence and Edrich is no idea.
I imagine he's ordered to go there. Does he go there? Is he at the point where he's still following Florence the trader's orders? Or
No,
is
he
it-
would. He has a 20 in love family. He can't refuse him. A 21 love family, actually.
Oh, okay.
He can't refuse an order from his brother.
Okay. So is he ordered to stay there?
He's ordered to find her. If he can't find her, then return.
Okay.
Because Florence also needs him in Idmiston.
So he'd
It's
return
kind of
it empty-handed after the fall?
Yeah.
Probably by Christmas, we'll assume he's back.
Yeah.
Why don't we cut over to Virgil? Because we haven't really seen Virgil here for a moment. Virgil, you get back to Sarum for the first time in a long time. A bit of a war hero, at least, as bad as Netley Marsh went. That was well beyond your scope.
Virgil performed very well there,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then you performed well after. So you come back. I think you're high pride with that character. Yes, Virgil's is he famously proud?
He really ought to be. I don't know if he is mechanically. No, oh no, sorry, I'm looking at Percy. Hang on.
You should have good pride. You're a true
True knight.
knight. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's at least decent at it. Yeah, 14 proud, 6
Okay.
modest.
You can tick proud, I think, if you're not opposed
Huzzah!
to it.
Oh no, I want more pride.
Yeah. So you roll back into Sarum, and we're going to give you just an intrigue roll to start. Let's see how you manage with the lay of the land.
Intrigue roll, you said?
Yep.
Nice.
Okay.
That says Percy, but that is Virgil.
Understand. Okay, so remind me, Liam, who got knighted out of your family during the Crucible?
Oh, during the Crucible, that would have been Perin's eldest.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So Virgil finds this out. So not only did Robert get knighted, he dragged along with him Florence's eldest and Perin's eldest.
Oh, no.
And
So
apparently
the household goes to someone else.
Yeah.
No.
Uh,
You're looking around your room like you're trying to find out where this blindsided you from.
Well, I'll tell you why I'm doing that. I actually, just in that exact moment, stepped in cat vomit as well under my table.
Oh,
gross.
no.
Thematically
It was a real
appropriate.
double. It was a real
The
double
reaction
whammy.
was perfect.
It's a real double whammy, honestly. The oh no was definitely more of the first thing. Anyway. Okay, so yeah, I think Virgil comes in. He's already got a cocktail of emotions because on one hand, we lost. On another hand, that was everything he wanted it to be. That was everything that he wanted it to be. On a third hand, he beat Florence in a straight up battle, ideology wise, theoretically. And on the other hand, he didn't get his money. And Florence is just fucking gone. So I think when
Worse,
he
Florence was in Sarah.
I was
Yeah,
going to say,
And then he was left.
you
He
actually
was there.
you actually hear that, Virgil. You hear that from Sir Barr, that Florence met with Edrich, went off to Idmiston for a bit, and whereabouts are lost from there.
I think whatever he's holding at the moment crushes in his hand. Like, there's a moment where he's hearing this, and he's got, like, I don't know if it's a cup or just an end of a table, but with his very high strength, I think it just shatters with the tension in his fist. Goes, is that so? Grateful to hear that Florence has somehow seen some grace in court. Still, despite everything, I hope you don't have any more bad news for me, Bar, because I was really hoping to enjoy this day.
Well, that was actually the better part of the news. I'm sure you're aware that Nanteleod is dead, along with the Winter Prince.
It's a battle. People die. Anything else?
That's roughly it. So Duke Corneus is dead as well.
Well, that is roughly all of our allies. Not great for our future, but at least I can celebrate today. How's Robert? What has he been up to?
Well, Sir Robert, Earl of Salisbury, is doing well.
He's been knighted.
He led a group of knights, a group of squires, out to Wilton Town to defend a raid.
And they were successful?
They fought well. As such, Robert declared that he would be knighted immediately, and all the squires who fought like knights would also receive the opportunity.
Well, it is a pity that I will not be able to teach him, and that he feels that he's ready so soon, but I trust his judgment in this. He proved himself, and so did the other knights. I'm happy that Salisbury is going to have more soldiers in a time where we seem to have less and less. And there is wisdom in this decision. Who all was knighted?
Well, Sir Florence's eldest, Sir Perin's, and
What?
one of Newton Manors. Sorry?
Did you say that young
Yeah.
Jaren was knighted as well?
Yes, Jaren was amongst them. Robert oversaw the ceremony himself once he was knighted.
Oh. Oh, shit. That's wonderful news. If you'll excuse me. And he just walks away.
Okay. So that's...
So Virgil, oh, never mind. He's off.
I think, yeah, I know Bar has more information for him. I think he needs to leave right now.
Okay.
I'm about to lose most of my holdings.
We're going to zoom in on Hugin again for a second. Hugin, why don't you give me an intrigue roll when you're back to Sarum again?
Intrigue. As he's returning.
And no extra juicy bits. The only thing you do recognize is that apparently Sir Edrich is back, you hear, so the marshal's returned. In addition, no, that's all you know. I'd say that Florence would be an intrigue success. So you learn that Edric's back, though. Presumably, are you spending some time in Sarum, or did you go right back to Winterbourne Stoke after meeting with Florence, Edrich?
There is so much to do, even if he isn't a marshal, and he expects the title will be returned to him. Even if it doesn't, there's so much to consolidate.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll say that Edric's still here in Sarum, even though Florence is probably ridden off to go give orders to Rhodri. So, Hugin, if you'd like to interact with the official marshal who was sent away during these times, you can. If not, if you got another plan, you can go after that instead.
Oh no, he'll go talk to if he's allowed. I mean, he is just a new knight. Granted, he's fought in 2 battles now, the pretty important ones, but he wants to get an idea of Edrich anyway as a person, because he has underlying goals that is going to take more than a single day.
You want to get a measure of him? All right. No problem.
Yeah.
I think because you are, despite you being a young knight, you're also a vassal knight of a powerful house. So I think that brought with you extra starting glory. It also brings with you extra clout in general. So you have no problem getting an audience with Sir Edrich, though we'll say, for sake of entertainment, that Edrich, you're energetic 20, I think, so you have no problem dealing with it. But other than, you know what, your body, like your energy, has no problem keeping up with it. Your muscles and bones disagree, though, at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's basically been keeping himself to the same regimen as his charger, but having no need to ride hard and fast, he had slept for the better part of a day and is back to a regular schedule, which is 4 hours.
Right. Edrich and Hugin.
Now, I probably know the heraldry of the house of one of my friends.
Don't even need to contest. You will
Yeah,
note
exactly.
that despite Hugin being Jareth's son, he has returned to the old Newton Manor heraldry. Not his Banneret father's heraldry.
I think as he enters, probably in the marshal's office, especially when Virgil has vacated so quickly, he goes, "Ah, good to meet you, Sir Knight. I recognize your heraldry as that of Newton Manor, one that I'm familiar with, though I cannot place your face."
Perhaps you've seen me around the feast halls. I am newly knighted as of this year. Sir Hugon of Newton Manor. It is an honor to meet you, Marshal Edrich.
Hugon. The last I saw of you, you were barely walking. And indeed, he was squired at Newton Manor, so he probably would have seen, like, the young child Hugon.
Yeah, probably.
Well, it heartens me to know that you will be following in your father's footsteps and indeed maintaining ownership of the ancestral house. The Saxon shores are difficult to hold on to nowadays, and Salisbury needs all of the fighters it can get.
Yes, my father's footsteps. And Hugon pauses for a second. They will be quite difficult to fill, but a son must do what he must do. And now the lands are filled with roving Saxons. I was wondering, being that you are back, and I'm assuming fulfilling the role of Marshal once again, that we are going to coordinate a plan. And I know it may be bold, but I would like to participate in these plannings. As Lord now of my manor, there's much at risk with these attacks at home, and I want to at least have a word in our decisions.
There is indeed. I will say this. The Earl has not yet found the time to officially retransfer the powers officially. However, I expect that will be done without much issue. In terms of what Salisbury faces, the next few years will be trying, for Logris as a whole and Salisbury in particular. Wessex, as you no doubt know, smells blood in the water, and it will follow. You, though newly arisen, are a member of a valued house and maintain... Hold on, where is Newton Manor? Maintain a house quite close to Sarum. I can make a recommendation. The advisors that we had in the past were storied knights who have many great deeds under their belt and a great clamor of glory about them. I understand that all things too have a beginning. I can ask the Countess and the Earl whether your advice would be appreciated to stand in on some of these plans. Though rest assured, you shall be a part of them as any of the knights under my command. Speaking of the shoes that your father had left for you to fill, there are many skills that make a knight. Do you possess his, shall we say, grace for politics?
I think Hugon looks at his hands for a second. I have heard rumor about my father's dealings in the courts. And while I don't think I'm anywhere close to his competency at such a thing, I plan on getting there one day soon.
A willingness to learn is important. I will ask one further thing in relation to your request, which is there are other knights within the county, those older and more experienced. Why should you be abreast of my plans before any of the others, beyond those who have been in the service longer? This is not a denial of your request, merely a question.
I think Hugon squirms for a second under probably quite the piercing eye of the marshal. I think I bring, as a new knight, but one from quite a house of quite high standing. I bring two things: new eyes, young eyes, that come from a different generation and perhaps a different way of thinking, and a bit of history with my manor and the resources that my father and my mother have cultivated.
I think at the mention of your mother, Edric's eyes take on probably familiar to you a calculating glint as he does like math in his head and like mental politics. But after a short time, he nods and says, "Very well. You have convinced me. It now remains for me to convince the Earl, should, of course, he see fit to have me continue the position. And with that in mind, what you said appeals to me, and I would make use of them here and now. As a new knight with fresh eyes, looking at the situation that Salisbury finds itself in, how are you feeling about the likely outcome of continuing war and the raidings only intensifying? After a significant battle of Netley Marsh and the cleanup that came and is continuing afterwards, do you feel that you and those like you, newly risen to knighthood, will be up to the task to have your mettle tested once more and continue a fight, if not this year, then the next?
I believe that many are losing loved ones on the battlefield, and now in our own halls and fields. There will be a lot of vengeance and justice on the minds of the young and the... But there's only so far that goes. It needs to be directed and harnessed, and it needs the proper leadership. Anger and vengeance, when thrown at a wall, will crash. It may chip a wall, but it will dissipate. But aiming it towards a weakness in that wall instead, with the same force, that is how you make walls crumble. And that is what is coming to us. If all the stories I've heard is true, and I've seen it at Netley Marsh, the endless boats upon the sea, we will need to be smart and have great leadership if we're to use any of our forces and have any chance against such large enemies.
Indeed. Among the greatest unifying forces that a knight can face, that a knight can wield, purpose is among the greatest. Anger, like you said, can only go so far. But I will say, Netley Marsh surprised many people. But I doubt they can pull off the same trick twice. We shall see what leadership can be brought to the table. I know that the Earl, now knighted, is likely to lead many of the discussions when it comes to wielding our forces in the right way. I have some plans, and, assuming I can convince the Earl of your merits, you will be hearing of them shortly. We have few allies, but we have them still.
Of course, And any word you can bring to our Earl in my stead, I am deeply grateful for. I heard of the knighting ceremony that has recently happened, where our Earl has been risen. I've already had a talking to with my cousin, who ended up also knighted. He will be... He's quite young.
Yes.
Hugon
Is all Edrich says, just yes.
Hugon can't help himself but crack a small grin. He is, to be quite honest, gotten away with far too much, even before this incident. I think he needs some time in garrison far away to learn a lesson or two and to grow up. Perhaps on our western border, somewhere far away from the Saxons for now. He is only 14.
14 he may be, but he is a knight. Knights will be called on to serve. I can assure you, however, that of the new knights entering this service, they are unlikely to find combat-heavy duties. They will be far too busy with accelerated training.
Ah, I see.
Thank you for coming to see me, and indeed, I shall pass on your request. If there is anything else, though your father and I were sometimes at odds, I was a good friend of your uncle's, and indeed, another uncle of yours, sired me to knighthood. Merrick was an inspiration to me growing up. If you wish to see me for matters beyond my status as a marshal, please feel free.
I believe I will, but not this night. I think I've taken too much of your time already. I appreciate your candor when it comes to these kinds of things. I am still a bit awkward when it comes to these things of court. My father and mother were the examples to follow, but I'll get there in time.
Indeed, these things come with experience, even if they are not taught. But it is as valuable a survival skill as a skill with a blade.
I can see that now. And so we get close up there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
good
just
scene.
looking for the right entrance there. It makes sense. We
I
will.
just realized that nobody told Virgil that Edrich was back too.
You left.
Yeah, it's true. They didn't
So
quite get
he's
to-
gonna go. He's gonna be like, okay, Christ, like,
God, at least I'm still marshal.
I think
Virgil gets back from band.
I think we did with an intrigue roll. I think we verified that you did know Edrich was back.
Oh, that's
yes, the Edom did come back.
I'll say that
Yeah.
happened after the bar scene.
yeah,
but still,
yeah, it makes
like,
sense.
He's halfway to Durnford when he goes, crap.
no.
So Florence, you made it to Idmiston. You send your brother to London, which will take months to hear back, presumably. Especially with the having to travel out of the way of Silchester from rumors that they are also under duress of the Saxons right now. What do you want to do from here?
Well, Florence's plan failed, so I think he's
You don't-
gonna go home and make
You
it
don't know.
Edrich's problem.
You know that, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. You sent him away,
I think
and then you're waiting.
yeah. In either case, he needs to return home because he needs to be like, "Hey, I'm alive. I didn't die. Don't take my lands away, please."
Noted. All right,
So yeah, he'd go to his king and be like, mission successful. Kind of.
We are going to say that, and this is something we've observed through a lot of the play. A lot of the time, it's like Idris doesn't even have these conversations with Florence. Oftentimes, it's Mark.
Yeah.
And I think this is yet another time. Roll me a d10.
10.
Okay. Yeah. This time, you actually are able to meet with Idris in Tintagel.
Oh. Interesting.
Rumor has it that Idris, even though the formal seat of the kingdom of Cornwall is what was originally in place, the seat more commonly used is Tintagel. So,
yeah, because it's a proper castle.
It's a really hard to breach castle, as some of you know directly. So you get this opportunity with the aging king. When I say aging, he's getting up there now. The image broke anyways. But yeah, he's looking a bit older than the last art we saw of him, put it that way. Sir Florence, welcome in.
My liege.
And just to note, for this period too, most people's titles, you would be like Sir Florence, Earl of Devon, would be how it would be titled. It's not uncommon for him to simply just call you Sir Florence, though, especially because he doesn't, you're his
He's
vassal.
my king. He can call me whatever he wants.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It seems Wessex has been successful in their fight against not only Salisbury, but against, I was going to say Wales, but that's not what they're called at all.
Gales is perfectly fine.
Oh, Gales. I said Wales.
Dortails, welcome in, friends.
Hello. Welcome. But yes, I'm successful in, fight against Gales. I'm sure you've heard, but the king of Gales, King Nanteleod, is dead.
I'm sorry. I am familiar with this, but were you able to determine who saw through the execution?
I believe he was killed in battle, my lord.
Right. But kings are typically positioned in ways where that would be a difficult thing.
You would think so, my lord, but it seems as if there was a strategy that was devised. One that I was not informed of until the final moment. I get the feeling Wessex does not entirely trust us. It seems to have been devised by one Praetor Siagrius.
Yes, the Praetor. I've known him for a long time. Though his goals are not terribly misaligned with our own. The kingdom of Logris, the royalty of the Pendragons. He seeks to eliminate them.
Rumor is he has already succeeded.
That is the rumor, yes. Though, we know that Uther was bountiful. There will be another pretender. I'm certain of it.
In which case,
I
with
have
my orders till then, my liege, I'm at your command.
You're on good terms with Sir Brastius, yes?
Indeed I am. To an extent.
They
They
say
say
that...
he will not kill me on sight.
Good. Brastius, he seemed to... Well, through anarchy, he chose not to swear an oath to anyone. Many talk that's because he would be unwilling to serve for anyone that wasn't the rightful king again. I'd like to know what Brastius knows.
On any particular topic, my lord?
The heirs of Uther Pendragon, the pretenders, the bastards, any that remain.
I see. I can see what I am able to scrounge together.
Excellent. Mark, I'm going to get Florence to roll an intrigue test here real quick. You're just
Yup.
trying not to fumble.
Just try not to fumble. It's easy. Yeah, success.
Okay.
15.
Yeah, I don't think he has any reason not to distrust you. And he knows even less about you than Mark does. So,
Mm.
hey, thank you very much for the follow. I'll leave you to find Brastius then. Do make sure that, of course, that your county is looked after while you're away. I have future plans for Devon. Many fear that many believe that we'll spend our time in Summerland again. I have my eyes set elsewhere. There'll be no movement. Not yet.
Of course, my lord. I await your command, no matter what it shall be.
Treat with whatever allies that remain. I understand that your participation in the war may have burned some bridges. If it were... Well, that was my son's call. I think he would have been better served as a loyal to Logris looking figure rather than an enemy, but he has done what he's done.
Indeed. Although I still have allies and family within the lands of Salisbury. Do not worry, my lord. I shall continue to be useful in whatever way you deem necessary.
War will come. Make sure that Devon is prepared for it. But not this year.
Of course.
And you realize
Happy
that
with
means
Val.
that next year is unlikely, which is surprising. It means that,
Yeah.
like, if he's not ramping you up already in the fall, that means they're not likely to march in 509, which is
No.
good news, I guess, considering they aren't looking at Summerland.
Exactly. It also means time for plotting. Doesn't have to prepare for a war.
Okay.
Also, one thing I want to Florence wants to try and get a sense of is whether Idris is curious about the children of Uther in either he wants to get them removed or in a he wants to make a power play using them.
You succeeded at intrigue. I think you have no doubt that Idris, especially with Nanteleod dead, slowly as these figures die and move away and don't have respective heirs, despite Idris having no claim of Logris, he's starting to look pretty tall in the claim for High King.
Yeah.
Right behind Lot
Yeesh.
and... I mean, you could argue that
No.
Cerdic now has the best claim, but no
Yeah.
collegium's going to vote in a Saxon.
Exactly. He would have to single-handedly conquer the collegium, which would mean conquering the Isle.
Which, given what you saw this
However-
year, isn't something to rule out.
Yeah, not impossible. I think this will lead to some ideas. I think Florence will send his spies to communicate with Edric's spies to float the idea of pitting Idris and the Praetor against each other by giving Idris the daughter of Uther.
Will respond to that in a various way, probably not through his spies immediately.
No.
Though I did have a question, this like partly mechanical. So I delivered Gawain to you. Does he count as a squire, or is he like a separate member of his entourage?
He's a squire.
Yeah.
Squire.
He's a good
my
boy.
other spire's about to age out. Slydog, so I'll probably replace him.
That's Sly Dog.
Gawain.
You can position Slydog as your Earl squire, and then
Yeah.
obviously Gawain, totally unimportant figure in in Arthurian
Totally
mythology,
Don't worry about it.
is your personal squire.
Wait,
Yeah.
he's already a prince, so even if we didn't know Arthurian myth,
I will note to Liam, who missed the session, Edric did manage almost to get him killed last session.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been fun.
I'm great at swording.
Yeah, he put
A little
he
too
put full
great.
faith in the sword. We're gonna go to Virgil on that note. What does this look like for you in the fall aftermath of everything that happened with the tragedy that was Netley Marsh, or the personal success in your case?
Despair.
You do know that technically you are a baron, Virgil. That
That's
doesn't
true.
get passed to your cousin.
Correct. And
Yeah.
Virgil
brother.
does not know. Virgil does not know that we are in an Arthurian mythology thing, and does not
Right.
know that there is going to be a new king in less than a year. But I do think that it's the same kind of loop that he's been having for the last couple of years, where he hits a low point and then all of a sudden everything he's ever wanted is handed to him, and he does really well, and then someone else shows up or something happens, and then it's just all given to someone else again. And I think for him, the barony is cool, and he's very grateful to have that. And I don't think he thinks he's going to lose it without it being pried out of his cold, dead hands. But I do think that the weight of all the things that he has lost is definitely outweighing for him what he's got to keep. And I definitely think that he was already feeling resentments towards Edrich, and having Edrich back and having everybody just give the role back to him with no discussion about anything has let some resentments inside him fester even deeper. And I also think that, especially knowing that Florence just walked through court and nobody did anything about it, nobody tried to stop him, nobody asked any questions, has also left him feeling especially angry at most people in Sarum. So, and you know what? I think his feelings are a little bit hurt by that child that knighted his cousin, too. Because even though Robert's still a delightful little lad, I think in Virgil's eyes, Robert got so excited about the possibility of making a big power play for himself that he completely overlooked what that was going to do to Virgil. So with all of those things, I think Virgil is entering a pretty dark period in his life, and I think all of his relationships are starting to suffer from it. I think he doubles down on the hounds and starts encouraging some of their worst impulses to be a little bit more aggressive in clamping down on quote-unquote disloyalty within the court.
Oh, you want to do some local raiding? Raid your neighbors? It's always a very...
No, that would
Okay.
be dishonorable, Bob. That would be
No.
dishonorable.
And I'd find you.
Not necessarily. I mean, you also have Gentian. It's
It
just
would-
around, just up north,
Yeah,
We own
that's the
Genshin.
thing. Until someone does it to Virgil, his code of honor still says that he cannot do it back. He can't
Could
make
always
the
row
first
west.
move.
Right, what?
Well, he is shy of quite a bit of money right now. He just lost a major source of income for him, and he has to pay for the hound somewhere, which I don't think he can afford to do on his own anymore. So, with that being said,
medicine?
that's a good point. I think he might need to do some raiding. I think he might actually need to do some raiding. I'm trying to think about who he would raid. I think the most obvious would be to raid Wessex or any of Cornwall's new territories. But I think there is a world where he could raid someone in Salisbury. I think if he targets people that specifically are whispering about, like, not defecting to Cornwall, but surrendering to them or discussing, like, giving Salisbury to Cornwall, I think those people might get hit by raids. I think he would probably want to focus his attention on Wessex, though. Is that too much? Is that too complicated a command?
Not at all. Not at all. This is probably, too, we're going to say this is like sometime in the early fall. And this is not uncommon. This is probably happening. There's lots of border harrying right now. The question I have, are you linking up with anyone else for this raiding? You have met on the battlefield a young member of Newton Manor that fought pretty well on the battlefield.
Hugon. He liked Hugon. Yeah, I think Hugon, the dude from Vagan that he kind of made an alliance with fairly
Vagan's
recently,
Edrich.
and Vagan's Edrich. No, who's the other guy then? It was Tilsbury? Was it Tilsbury?
Do you remember?
Which person was it?
It was Robert, I think. Sir Robert.
Oh, Robert
Regent
Demir.
of
yeah.
Mir. Robert Demir, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are the two go-tos. His hounds are part of that, and I think he's going to try to expand his coalition as well. I think in a really weird way, he's going to try to build his own faction within Salisbury.
Right back to anarchy. That makes sense. All right.
It's finally getting into the spirit of anarchy because it's for sure going to continue for longer.
Okay. We're going to assume that I could give rolls and stuff for like accumulating a big Saxon or big, Salisbury raid. We will say that this is a bit unsanctioned. So why don't you just give me an intrigue roll, Virgil, just to see, like, I don't think you're going to have any trouble recruiting people. It's more a matter of how long does it take before Edrich finds out about it. Yeah, it's going to take till like after it's done.
Indeed.
I'm not asking for permission or forgiveness.
Yeah. There are a number of people that just want vengeance, and you have no problem getting people from Demir.
I mean, a lot of Salisbury knights watched Virgil hold the line while they retreated.
Yeah, he's a full war hero.
There's a lot of people that want vengeance, and I think they'll go and get it. Okay,
You want vengeance? I can give it to you.
Okay, so in this raiding, are we talking about hitting towns, or are we more talking about hitting roving Saxon parties?
Saxon towns would have the best plunder, I imagine, and also they raid our towns all the time. So fuck them. They don't get rules of engagement there.
Okay, so hit the smaller settlements that you can.
Whatever hurts the most and gives the most money. Until I manage to recapture Florence, I'm running at a deficit. So
I spent 1,000 librum in preparation to catch him.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do some roll. Hugon, do you want to participate in this?
Yeah. Hugon will. Well, first he was probably looking for it, like, to get back to Virgil anyway. He keeps getting drawn away, either running into the woods after a massive battle or being captured. But he finds his way back to Virgil, and he'll definitely go on some raids. He needs more experience before things get even more grim. So this seems like a good route.
Is there anything you want to say to Virgil before we get into the raids? Like, is there something that Hugon wanted to have as far as an interaction with Virgil? We can, we can do something before the raid if it makes sense to.
I'm down with that on if you want me to invite you in a scene or if you want to come and find him after he's already gotten you. Either one sounds groovy to me.
We can. There's a few things. I don't think he's. While that would be hilarious with all the perceived things taking away authority from Virgil, that Hugon just walked in and be like, you know who I just saw? That your elder brother who has more claim to things.
I'll fucking kill you.
He's not going to do that. I think he's going to, due to being rescued quite literally and owing his life to the Black Naug, he's not going to spill his beans. But we can have a scene and talk about some things.
Yeah, I'd say you probably find, this probably after one of the lesser raids, you find him kind of sitting like all of the men are sitting at a campfire about 20 yards away from the campfire that he has made himself and is just sitting and seething at. I think he's covered in blood, still has not washed it off, and he's just already sharpening his sword.
Stomping on over, making his stomps intentionally loud, maybe rustling leaves on the way over as to not spook the guy sharpening his sword covered in blood. Hugon will plop down across the fire and kind of pick up a stick and stoke it a bit where there's pieces that could be pushed in more.
Is there something I can help you with, Hugon?
Plenty. He didn't expect that tone. Well, though he should have, and now he's kicking himself at not responding, and he's still stuck in his head. I'm sure there's plenty of things, but now is not the time.
It's my
Is there
duty to
anything
be of service to those who have joined me in this campaign. I don't mind. Happy to help.
I was wondering if you had time for a few questions on the future.
Sure, if one exists. Doesn't hurt to try to speculate, does it? Watching your face journey right now, Zach, is so fun.
I'm fighting the urge so Hugon's a pretty humorous guy and usually pretty positive. And so I'm fighting the urge to just crack a joke, which will get him like bitch slapped immediately. And I think Hugon realizes this. And so he's also fighting the urge. I think the future, we have a future. We just need to find the right path to it. There are many leaders. It seems that they are deciding on the route to go. Marshal Edrich is back. Hugon looks up immediately away from the fire to see the reaction to saying Marshal Edrich.
I think there's no reaction other than like one drag of the whetstone across the sword is a little bit like louder than the others. And I think you hear him go, of course, though, as we all know, some leaders have more value than others.
Of that, there is no doubt. There are leaders of different caliber. And I'm sure that whatever council is reforged after the recent loss at Netley Marsh, that your input will be valued greatly. You led us to victory, no matter how that battle went. our men fought to victory. And even afterward, on the defensive retreat,
I did my duty, Hugon. I did what was expected of me, what should be expected of every knight. That's all. I do wish more saw it as you did, though.
I think if they were there, they would agree. And if they didn't, then they would be lying. But they weren't there. And there's only so far our words can go. So then it's our actions, right? That prove to them our words.
Suppose it's true that I am neglecting present in exchange for the past. These soldiers here, yourself and the others, they are here because they see it's important. That blood will be spilled for blood, and that we are warriors, killers, and we will do our duty and kill for our country and for our families. That's all that matters.
You can choose on that for a second.
Hugon's like, this guy's way more intense than I remember. And I remember him being pretty intense.
I think being covered in blood has really soured his night. Or made it. I don't know. We'll see. I have an uncle. You know him well. Quite enjoyed battle. It's all he ever talked about. Perhaps not always the spilling of blood and covering oneself with it, but he was devoted to the concept of being a killer, a knight, and what its duty was. I looked up to him for the longest time, but now, what is he? Where is he? Do we get lost in it after a while? The blood. Do we forget, eventually, why we spill it? And if we are to leave behind the others, to fulfill our duty on the field, who are we leaving our young to? We won't survive constantly fighting. Perhaps we're not meant to. But it does mean that our families back home, our people back home, will be without our wisdom, without our leadership.
Now, this is going to sound really concerning, but what's your size and your strength?
Hugon is he's a big guy, not only tall, but quite broad. He is 17 size, though
Okay.
while he is a big lad, he only has 12 strength. It's more of like, he's strong because he is just large, not because he actually...
Yeah. I think, okay, that's good to know. I think as Hugon starts to kind of wind down with that, Virgil just looks up at him, and I think he stands up. And Virgil's also size 17, but he's also strength 17. So I think they're similar in terms of scale, but it's distributed much differently on the two of them,
Yeah.
you know? And I think Virgil takes a step forward and he goes, You think to lecture me, Hugon? About what it means to be a knight? I've been doing this longer than you've been alive. And yet, you're not wrong. For any other knight, at least. But I've never been any other knight. I've always had this call to me in a way that very few others have understood. Maybe no one. Yet. I don't think that there is a world where I get lost in the blood, Hugon. Others may be. It's the only place I've ever felt comfortable. Really comfortable. Maybe there'll be a world where maybe there'll be a time where the world doesn't need knights like me. But look around you, Hugon. This isn't it. He'll go and he'll sit back down by the fire and continue sharpening his sword.
Zoom in on Hugon for this last moment.
I think Hugon was going to retort, but it never leaves his mouth. He does look around at the ragtag camp that we have with knights who've just gone raiding and pillaging. I'm sure not all of our targets were of Saxon warrior make. And he no longer has a retort. He's not quite sure. He was raised a certain way to see the world a certain way, but now he's living it. And it's not like the stories. So I think he'll sit there quietly by the fire, poking at it.
Excellent.
I love hearing Virgil's perspective. Sorry, you go, Bob.
Go ahead. Yep.
It just puts me in mind of like a West Wing reference. Obviously, Sir Virgil is a brilliant knight who we cannot live without. Otherwise, there would be very little reason to not put him in prison.
Right. That's fair. All right. So we're going to see how this raid goes. We start with Virgil making a siege roll as the head of this. This is not for the overall, this is for the town itself or the towns themselves. So we start with the siege roll.
All right. I am not good at that yet. We'll get there.
I believe in you.
Can't impassion honor for this either. But can't impassion loyalty, Lord. I'm doing this against orders. Fuck yeah. I gotta get that fucking money. I need that money. All right. You guys are gonna love this shit. Hang on. Hell yeah.
Dude. Oh, by what?
So close. All right, let's go now to 7-5-3s for you guys. The 7-5-3s that you guys are dealing with. So this is both Liam and Zach. I need you to make a battle roll versus a 7, weapon skill roll versus a 5, and horsemanship roll versus a 3. Or dex versus a 3.
Does my passion count to any of these?
No, it does not.
Okay. Fail on battle. What were the other two? Sword.
Sword versus 5, or weapon skill versus 5.
Okay. Great. All right, that's one. And then was it dex and then one other thing, or dex or one other thing?
Dex or horsemanship. Horsemanship, or you're on foot and you're testing that way during the siege.
Yep, I gotcha.
So no battle for Hugon, but he did get the weapon and he did get the horsemanship.
Okay, so same for both of us then.
Okay. Damage coming at Virgil. Gets ignored. Damage coming at Hugon. Ooh. You take 6 wounds past your armor in the exchanges.
Question. Would I have healed since the last time? Since
In
he got rescued?
seasons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You would have had it probably 4 weeks.
Okay, that's good enough. But 6 damage, okay.
Okay. You know, the raid is costly, but it's successful. There are knights who die. There are Saxons who die. The town is taken, or pillaged, rather. The question I have, while I look up a table real quick, the question I have is, would either of you resort to pillaging?
Yeah. What are we here for, Bob?
What does that term mean exactly?
Pillaging is effectively taking everything you can get your hands on that'd be worth money here in an effort to get more money.
Ah. Well, these are Saxon lands, right?
Yes.
On the British
technically
island?
they're occupied. They're British lands occupied by Saxons, so we're probably hitting our villagers anyway at somewhere in there.
Well, they should have never
I should have thought about
capitulated.
that before we let them get conquered.
Yeah. We need the resources if we're going to win this war. So pillage.
Okay.
Fuck
So,
yeah,
For both
love
of
being
you,
a bad influence.
if you have an honor of 15 or more, I need you to test hate Saxons versus honor to see if you can make enough justification for the pillaging here.
Well,
If you have 15 or more in hate Saxon.
If you have 15 or more in honor, 16 or more in honor.
Oh no. Oh, Bob, don't do this to me.
Hugon skates on by with 14 honor.
All right. Virgil, you are at a risk of losing your honor here.
As he's covered in blood, stealing
Yeah.
chickens.
This is returning from the year that had Virgil's literal best day of his life to the worst year he has ever had. I'm dead serious.
Yeah. Let's roll a d20, both of you, to begin with.
Okay. I love D20. It's my favorite kind of dice. 14.
7.
Oh, wow. Look at that. You both end up with ransomable enemies. So both of you are able to take...
Florence?
No.
Yes, one of them.
Yeah. No one Florence's size, but this will help. We'll figure out the math on what that's going to get you. I just have to quickly look that up.
I execute all prisoners that are not Florence
Yeah.
on principle.
Florence comes out of a shack very confused, going, "What melon shit?"
Okay, so you're gonna end up with 40 glory each for this.
Let me record that.
And then what you succeeded on is extra glory. So 9 and 13 for Hugon, and 10 and 16 for Virgil. So that's additional glory they'll get on top of the 30.
Hell yeah.
And then I think for Virgil, we're going to use that personal honor thing. So you yourself are at a 19 honor, but from the perspective of the outside world, you're still at a 20.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I thought I was safe. I
Yeah.
thought I was safe. legitimately 6 years of Virgil's life has been spent regaining honor that has been lost. I'm so bummed. All right, here we go, boys.
And 7 Librum goes to Virgil, plus what he gets for the ransom, which we'll figure out in a bit, and 8 Librum goes to Hugin. And then I think because Virgil was actually the one to like oversee it, the men put together a purse for him. So 7 more.
Oh,
Yeah.
You see,
Here,
me,
boss. This
Me
for
and the
you.
boys got together and we pulled some money for you.
Okay.
We heard you had a rough year.
We found this
You
cow.
can maybe afford to shower all that blood off you.
We thought you could use to pick me up, so here's an extra cow.
Here's an extra
This
cow,
is something that I
Lord.
found underneath the floorboards. It looks like a necklace that a husband gave his wife.
Okay. With that, my friends, we're gonna move away from that scene on a bit of a timeline, if I can do so. Gonna quickly check in with Edrich. What was your autumn going to involve?
Where are our fucking knights?
Yeah, there's plenty of notes.
Indeed.
Yeah. What?
Where are
what
all the
is-
ones that are missing, though?
Yeah.
Shit.
Aside from your
Um,
normal duties, what is your goal in autumn?
He is going to. Okay. Broad strokes. If Lady Jenna is still in Salisbury, he wants to meet with her. Otherwise, gonna go home, spend the time with his family. It's been far too long. Also, he heard that his daughter almost got killed.
We can do a short bit with Jenna. She is still here.
Indeed. In that case, I think at an appropriate time, he'll make an appointment, go and greet with her, bow, and say, Lady Jenna, it is well to see that you are safe and healthy, especially after the excitement of this year, the past few months, truly.
Indeed, it's been a year. How are you, Florence? How are you, Edrich?
I
It'd
will
be
take
funny
that
if
as
she
a
got that wrong. Hey.
Yes.
I think that's how you keep getting seated wrong at the feasts.
Damn it, they think I'm Florence somehow. A jilted lover's doing it. But no, Edrich will say, I am well, though understandably, it shames me that I was away from Salisbury during one of the most harrowing defeats of Logras in some time. But I understand that God sets us all on our paths, and lords much the same. But I wanted to ask you, as this is something that affects a wide variety of people and lands, and when I was returning to Salisbury, I had heard that there was little news coming from Silchester. How fares your lord husband, and indeed your good father?
Well, my father-in-law is said to be... The Duke is said to be pulled away in... I forget the name of it. Bob forgets the name of it. I think it's Great Stone or something like that. His demesne, his coup de jour.
Is Mini Cooper?
Right?
He travels the land in a Mini Cooper.
Yeah, his main seat. He resides in his main seat, but the lands are overrun with Saxons.
Yes.
As far as my lord husband, I have received a letter from him. He is well, though wounded. He is recovering. It seems that they took the opportunity after Netley Marsh to roam the land and establish
Pillage how they will.
their strength.
This will be a difficult time for Silchester and Salisbury both. And given that I imagine, if not this year, then the next, we will be met with heavy requests for tribute. We fought a battle with some of the largest armies that we have seen since the days when we had a high king, and we lost. and I imagine we shall be paying for that for some time. Salisbury, however, thanks to Sir Virgil's leadership, still stands quite healthy in comparison to how it could be. I ask you this, as a daughter of Salisbury and one who is now bound to Silchester. Do you believe that in this year or the next, most likely the next, we and Silchester could band together to rid each other of our Saxon threats? Or do you believe that this is no time for it, that Silchester is too vulnerable, and that we would do best to stand alone? We do not have much in the way of riches. A tribute will be costly.
Edrich, you put a lot of weight behind your own skill. You understand we had the biggest army that's existed in my lifetime defeated. What will Salisbury and Silchester do?
From what I understand, Wessex was aided by a contingent of Cornish. How many I cannot say, but I know they were led by Sir Florence, a man of great skill. Without Cornish influence, the scales are balanced. If not completely, then at least less weighted heavily.
Battle roll, because that's not accurate at all. So give me a battle roll here.
Is that not accurate?
No. Cornish were the smallest contingent, like
Success.
1/100th of what was there. The majority was yeah. So with a battle roll, the majority of what was there was Wessex, Essex, Sussex, Angles, and a massive new wave of Saxons that arrived on the shore.
Got you.
And then the smaller
in fact,
contingencies were Praetor, Siagrius, and Cornish, which I would say they didn't make an effective effort, but when we're talking numbers,
Got
no.
you. I will say, like, out of character, numbers is something that's always been in the Saxons' favor. What we've had are, like, heavily armored and armed troops with horses and stuff, which often makes up for the being outnumbered. But yes, you are right.
They did have cavalry
So
too, I will note, this time.
Yeah,
Maybe just most of the Cornish, but there were definitely Saxons riding horses for the first time.
indeed. So long as it is only Wessex, we will have a chance. If they join together as they have before, it is unlikely, yes. Salisbury is in dire straits, and it is a matter of whether or not we can escape the noose that is closing us, or wait for some slack in the rope.
I will bring this suggestion to my lord husband and his father. I do not think that Salisbury and Silchester are in a position to be successful in a counterattack after these great losses. But I am who am
Counterattack is, indeed. A counterattack is quite unlikely. Mutual defense, it is something that we are honor bound to do, even if we cannot do it decisively.
There is already an alliance in place, Sir Edrich. That is the declaration of my hand to UFO.
And
If
that is what I
Salis-
speak of.
If it is purely in the defense, Silchester would send what it could. I would need to see more of just how severe the raids were. What I hear out of
Indeed.
Berwick is that they were pillaged.
Quite so. If Silchester is unable to send what they can in Salisbury's defense, I understand. Because, yeah, that's basically Edric's going, if we don't pay tribute, they're going to attack us, and we need all the help we get. but he will say, "Thank you, Lady Jenna. I understand I put a lot of pressure on you in this, but it is the weight of politics and war, and I apologize I cannot speak of lighter matters."
She just nods to that and says, "It's been a year to remember." Well,
Did he hear that she did fighting personally in, like, the battle? I don't think we discussed it in character.
not a lot of people are raising a lot of attention to that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Indeed. He shan't either.
Depends on how fast Cork was kicked out of Salisbury.
Yeah, Cork would be
There's
the
this
one.
one newly raised knight who's the cause of all of the gossip. He's where all of
The
my news comes from.
squires. I think the squires are the ones that have all that news right now. They're the ones most,
Yeah.
most, and then
Wasn't that 12-year-old knighted? What was his name? Maybe he knows what's going on.
all right.
Ellen's not
with
talking to me
that,
for whatever
folks,
reason.
We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, like 3-4 minutes. We'll be back very shortly with winter. It's Christmas time. We haven't done a feast in a while.
Yeah.
Mark, while we're away, you need to decide who the hell you're going to have here, whether or not Florence is going to brazenly show up here or not. I will sweeten the pot to suggest that Sir Brastius is Christmasing here. So,
Well, it sounds like Florence is making an entrance.
indeed. All
We
right, folks.
just expelled you.
Guess who's back?
All right, folks. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. All right, and we are back. Cameras might be slightly misaligned because we haven't been in the screen yet for some time, but we are back with the feast. Welcome in for anyone that's new and joined. Good to see you. We're playing Pendragon here. Very long campaign, super fun. Let's dive in. So this feast is in Sarum. It's Christmas time. Sir Brastius is here. That is kind of the start of things. We have Earl Robert, who's now officially Earl Robert. So that's the other thing for those on the council. What does that mean? Double rainbows. But yeah, that can change everything, right? So, all right.
I will say him being officially an earl, he was never shy about speaking his mind before. Now I feel, and Edrich suspects, that Robert will be putting his foot down more often, for better or for worse. But Edrich is hopeful.
Yes, indeed. And that's a reasonable situation to be in. All right. We're going to start with app rolls from y'all. Haven't done this in a while.
Well, success. No, wow.
Hell yeah. Somebody roll a 3. Well.
Damn it, Zach. Below
I
the
don't
salt
need
for you.
I don't need no salt anyway.
That's
I'm on
awesome.
Sen?
Oh, I have fashion as well. I don't think that'll mean anything for this.
Fashion, if you have fashion, you can test it. Do you have fashion or do you have someone with fashion? Like, is it?
I have somebody with fashion.
Yeah, you can.
He failed.
Okay. It could have given you a plus.
I'm executing him on the spot.
It's fair. So we got
I mean, your wife could do it. However, I think you were the one who brought the outs.
Hugin below the salt, everyone
I-
else near the salt. Is that
I
correct?
have no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no problem with my lovely wife. She's mad at me because I had an affair and supported the wife through childbirth or the woman through childbirth and refused to break up with her and also might be seducing a man. Don't worry about it.
You need to do that.
Huh?
The air quotes each time you say something.
Yeah.
Because I'm having an affair and supposedly dating a man.
Affair.
Okay, let's figure out what this looks like, y'all. Good times. So we move in with Edrich at the top of this feast. It is a 3-round feast, and most of the to-dos of Salisbury are here. If you see anyone that doesn't make sense, or you know they're dead, just to let me know, and we can move them off screen. But I think
Indeed.
that's everybody. We're gonna put Brastius next to his wife. That makes sense.
Yeah. I think for the first round, I'm probably going to draw some cards. It's been a little while since Edrich has been feasting in Salisbury. Do an ideal wife, host calls for a dance, a
Two host
dangerous game, and manners. So I got 2 host cards. The host or your lord, if present, introduces you to an eligible lady he thinks would make an ideal wife. Since I am married, I can recommend a fellow player knight, and if I do, I can give that card to the player and get it generous. The only one that would apply to is Hugon, and I'm
Lawrence.
not
Florence is
sure
unmarried.
why
Florence isn't married.
Florence isn't married. That is true. I don't
I
think.
think you should recommend the traitor for marriage. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. The second thing is host calls for a dance, which I'm not fantastic at for various reasons. I think an ideal wife is better mechanically, but host calls for a dance makes sense.
So, host calls for a dance? Is that what you're doing?
Yep.
All right.
Everybody roll dancing.
Very similar to Virgil, Robert's very much kind of stuck on his own successes this year. He was very happy with it himself. And so his energy doesn't necessarily match everyone else's energy.
Indeed.
Right.
I will say
Virgil-
that Baron Virgil gets 2 geniality.
Virgil busts down. I think Mark got a bit higher success than me on that,
I
but
got 7.
I will say
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
Virgil busts down and he's real angry about it. He is dancing real good for some reason, and it makes everyone uncomfortable.
They getting a
That's
dance
angry
off with
style.
Florence?
He's a quirked up white boy. Down with the
He's a
sauce.
quirked up white boy, and he is ready to kill.
We watched Virgil and Florence reenact the West Side Story together. So,
Yes, so
With
2
the-
geniality for Florence, 1 geniality for Virgil.
well, that's a good
Is he
start
going
for
to the
those.
song?
Not even your turn. But of course, Florence goes and collects geniality when it's not even his turn. It's good times.
Me? Oh, thank you.
It really is the character. It's so different than your first character, Edward. It's just wild how unlucky you were with that character. Yeah. All right, we go to Virgil next. Virgil, friend, it is your turn.
Virgil's turn to do Virgil things. Virgil is going to make his way across the hall and slam both hands down on the table in front of Florence. She's not going to do it so loud that it causes a whole scene, but he's not doing it so quiet that it's not causing a scene as well.
Okay.
What in God's name made you think that it was okay for you to come back here?
Mark, do you catch that?
Florence.
Oh, no. Sorry, I zoned out for a moment.
No, it's okay. Yeah. What? Sorry, what was that, Virgil?
Ah, we're at a feast.
Here's what I want you to do, Mark. I want you to give that same line again, but I'm gonna give you the setup. Virgil marches across the hall, slams his hands down on the table in front of Florence, and goes, "What in God's name made you think it was acceptable to come back here?"
Oh, so Virgil, I didn't see you there. I'm just here to see my homeland. I'm a guest in these lands. In fact, a guest
This
to this
isn't your
feast.
home. This isn't your home anymore. You drew Salisbury blood. Your troops drew Salisbury blood. My troops' blood. I am owed your ransom because I defeated you in fair combat and you fled like a coward. How dare you?
Really, Sir Virgil?
Bar moves a couple of guards around the area now.
Yeah.
Bar's got some of the.
And how much blood
This-
have you spilled?
I think we could make room for some more.
Oh, please. I have better things to do than to fight petty duels.
I think it would be best, Sir Florence, if you didn't sleep too soundly. And he will, like, take a step away from the table and look towards Bar and kind of scowl at him. Go, I'm finished here. And walk back to his side of the room.
Okay. That sounds good. Yeah, we noticed too that we actually saw members of both houses kind of get up and sort of posture around the other, around their respective leaders too. So it was pretty tense. It caught the eye of most of the people here.
Indeed.
We are going to, it's going to be at -2 geniality. I'm sorry. It just is.
That's okay.
Yeah. Well, I hate.
Is that for both of us? Reverse.
I think it's a -1
makes sense
for
if it was
Florence.
both.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it was -1. There's always a little bit
For the
extra
scandal.
penalty time for the.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always
For
a
the
little
scandal of it all. Yeah.
bit. Yeah. Let's do that. All right. We moved to Florence.
Florence is going to draw some cards. He's not
But
going to let
you
Virgil
bastards!
ruin his
How
evening.
dare you not acknowledge me? I'll kill you!
It really
What's
is.
that- what's
The
that-
thing I can do to hurt Virgil the most is not acknowledge him. Pretend it didn't
What's that-
happen.
What's that bit from Dragon Ball Z Abridged? Notice me!
No!
Oh, a lady and you. Blah, blah, blah. An
Killed the
important
lady,
lady
too.
spends time conversing with you. You interact with a lady. At the start of each round, you can keep this card or discard it. If you keep it, +1 geniality per round. Cannot draw cards while you have this one.
Mark,
Ellen, you're not helping.
Roll a D2.
A D2. Ooh.
Mhm.
1D2. Flip a coin. That's 1.
Okay, this is Lady Jenna.
Okay.
Yeah. I just wanted to see. I mean, it would make a lot of sense that the Countess would be the Countess again, but also there's enough negative attention on Florence right now where that might be avoided
Yeah.
on purpose.
Probably
All
for
right.
the best.
Just before you get this, you hear back from Rhodri. We see Rhodri step away from Florence, and he says they hide. If there's news of this heir, they hide her well.
Florence just nods and goes, well, that is unfortunate. Seems we'll have to use other methods to track her down. With that, he looks over to Sir Brassius.
Okay. And then just as you turn, you see Lady Jenna, who's almost like accidentally runs into you. And I should note that roast baby swan is, of course, the first course of today. Yeah.
Ooh. It tastes way better when, like, it's got innocence in
This
it.
feels
I think.
like the bird you have to eat while covering your face to hide your shame from God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. What's that called? Birdie in a blanket or something?
I'm trying to remember what it's called.
Oh my god.
So bizarre. Anyway,
All right. So you interact with the lady at the start of each round. You can keep the card, so she'll walk around with you, I suppose.
I assume so.
Let me
To make-
keep you out of trouble, Sir Florence, and also keep Virgil away from you.
I think this is a way of, they're both technically expats of Salisbury, right? With
Yeah.
different allegiances. And she does respect her brother and her mom and doesn't want to fight or anything. So her going around with Florence makes it less likely that Florence is to receive any additional threats tonight. All right.
Yeah.
So that's 2 extra geniality then.
Fear.
Dang it. Does that work still? No. I just duplicated the card. No, I duplicated the card.
More cards.
Lady Jenna, you have a twin. Oh, it's a doppelganger situation. I'll handle this.
The fair back.
Okay, that brings us to Hugin for round 1.
All right. Probably some cards. Round 1's good for cards.
All right. 2 for 2,000 plus.
Yes, I'll do 2. Let's see. Insult to a lady.
Oh, that's someone
let's
else insulting a
see.
lady.
Oh, it doesn't have to be Hugin. Okay. That's probably better. Test of strength. That does not look good for Hugin for the test of strength with him being 12 strength. So we'll do the insult to a lady.
All right.
I think Hugon is enjoying the feast, laughing and conversing and hearing this happening. He takes his mug of ale and stomps over. And I need to roll honor. Nice.
I'm just going to ask. I'm just going to do a D100 roll. We're going to go 50-50. Below 50 is someone we know. 51 plus is someone we don't. 66 is someone we don't
It's a
know.
Saxon.
Sir Arthur. Indulgent 17. Well, we know where this got started.
Hey, boating. Who even boats? A Saxon's boat. You're a Saxon.
Neighboring region. I mean, let's see. There's really
Oh, no.
Wessex.
Wessex.
Cornwall.
Fuck off.
They boat too.
He's one of my boys.
I'm gonna throw an egg
Or
at
might
this
not be.
guy. I'm gonna throw a baby swan egg at this guy.
Sir Arthur, we'll say, is actually just a mercenary knight from Cornwall originally. And where in Cornwall? Homeland, Kingdom of Cornwall. Okay, so yeah, he's from like deep in Cornwall. He insults the lady as you succeed at, stepping in. He does turn to you and gives a step back and a bow, and he says, "You're right, Sir Knight. Tensions are high. I misspoke, and forgive me." The lady just has a look like you're an asshole on her face, but she says, "Of course, Sir Knight. Good evening." Okay. And with that, we're going to just figure out who this lady was, because that could be interesting. As you're a young knight, who knows what will happen. Tegenwyn of the same region. South Counties. Tegenwyn of Silchester. This is one of the entourage of Lady Jenna.
Why, hello there.
Yes.
You come here often.
So I will note, I think with stepping in there, even though it's not part of the role, if you wanted to flirt with her this feast, we'll give you a +5 to that, just for the thematics of that. I think you made a good impression, and she'll remember you at least for now. So with that, that is 2 geniality, right? To Hugin?
Yep.
2 geniality. And we are in round... as we move to round 2, I will get everyone to give me... Sorry, I'm just struggling with the VTT. I'll get everyone to give me a recognized roll. Edrich and Florence can give me a +5. everyone else can get so Virgil and Hugan can get a +2. It's recognized rules.
Critical.
I love that Florence never notices shit. That's also on brand.
What was the plus for me and Hugon?
+2.
2.
2.
+2. Okay. Hell yeah.
Okay. I
You
mean,
really adopted the politics.
Edrich has notoriously, been suspicious and always ever watchful. It's no small wonder that he notices Merlin enter and blend amongst the crowd.
No.
A face he hasn't seen in a very long time.
I think perhaps some people at the above the salt might just hear Idris go puffing on like the bone of a roast baby swan.
Why is there an old man in here? I'm too pissed to think about this.
Did he bring a bird in? What's going on?
Who brought the pagan again? Someone call for a pagan priest again. Come on.
A Pragan.
A pagan. That's one of the tribes. So yeah, so we start round 2, Edrich, with knowledge that Merlin's present.
I think I will immediately make use of that knowledge and go, like, I was going to talk to Rastius, but now Merlin's arrived. I think I'm going to talk to Merlin.
You're going to go approach Merlin?
He's still, like, there is no king, but he's still kind of a wanted man, right?
Yep. I mean, from the church's perspective.
Yeah. I think Edrich will go to speak to him, like, mere meters away from where the Bishop Roger is, and probably inquire as to what he is doing here out of hiding, where he has been for decades.
This will be an intrigue test.
Let's do it.
Isn't Merlin wanted for stealing babies?
Yeah.
Yeah, as noted,
One baby in
so
particular.
everyone kind of has more or less not paid too much attention to that, but yes. Right? Lots happened, including the death of the king that decreed that, and he disappeared for 16 years he was gone from the public eye.
What a guy.
What a guy. Yeah, I think Edrich will do the patented Winterbourne swoop and probably go through the crowd, finding his way near Merlin, and will say, "Rare is it that we have such a popular guest here. I realize it has been some time, but you rarely make an appearance where things are not in the balance, as it were, on the edge of a knife. Your being here is an ill portent. Though I do not mean to make you feel unwelcome, you are a wanted man."
Pastimes from a past king. So, Edrich, you look old.
Not as old as you, but I'm getting there.
One thing you observe is he looked pretty old when you saw him before. He doesn't look too much older than he did back then.
At least he doesn't look younger.
Yeah.
We're not doing that.
I'm sure you've had the opportunity to speak to Florence.
I have. The words he gave me, were it to come from someone else, I would believe it wishful thinking. The death of one who inspired such loyalty, a tragedy to be sure. But if it is not the true-born heir, then your mandate and your quest still applies. What would you do if the boy were to have really died? Where would you go if Britain had no hope left, save one we could build for ourselves?
Where would I go, or where would you go?
I know where I would be. Dead in a decade, perhaps less.
This island is my home. It always will be. Don't mistake my absence for fleeing.
Indeed. I will say that despite the perception of things by many here, including here in this room, you have helped Britain in many of its times of need. And by protecting the young boy, you do much the same. Your appearance here, however, is unexpected. So, why are you here?
Things will come to a head soon with the Praetor. He seeks the boy. And the girl.
In times past, you have given armies tunnels of mist with which to travel through and strike down their enemies before they were fully aware. I could gather up a contingent, and we could ensure that Syagrius is no more, assuming we had some assurity of assistance.
Ah, but you would have to know where he is first.
Do you not?
Not any longer, no.
I see. Well, as Sir Florence intimates, we know where he will be, so long as we can find the girl or the boy. Unless you mean to make him follow your trail with your appearance here.
No. I will do my best to stay out of the eyes of Syagrius and any of his men. After my visit here, I will go and secure things where they need to be. Cannot be part of what is immediately to come. The boy will need
I see.
rousing, persuading, as it were.
Whatever is to come, I wish you luck. Magic is something that I meet with suspicion, fear, and no small degree of nervousness. But I have hopes for a future for Britain. And I have hopes for the young boy.
Only the Praetor threatens that at this point. Deal with him, secure the future.
We shall do our best. I hope you enjoy the feast, and if you cause trouble, ensure that I can undo it quickly.
You hear him say just as you go to leave, I mean, this is pretty much standard Merlin business, but he says, you'll need to speak with those other loyal to the crown, to the line of Pendragon. And he says, like Sir Hune, you remember the name, one of the Salisbury knights who was holed up inside a royal castle here in Salisbury?
Yeah, the
Sitting
little
on-
bastard almost mugged me.
Yep. You recall what he sat on as far as the castle's
Yeah, like
keep?
huge amounts of money.
With that, he...
I shall speak
walks-
to him. Yes, very cool. Look at this. Like an evil guy.
Sir Virgil, it is your go, Liam.
I have a question for you. How do you feel about me taking this turn as Jaren the Lesser?
I'm open to it. But I
I
would
shall-
question why, but I'm open to it.
I shall open a new
I-
genealogy track.
I have my reasons. I don't think that'll be 100% necessary. I don't think this will affect his genealogy regardless. I think Jaren the Lesser, having seen the outburst with Virgil and Florence, is also going to seek out Florence.
Okay. Let's do it.
As Jaren makes his way over, he kind of clears his throat a little bit, like not too far from Florence, and go, "Sir Florence, do you remember me by any chance?"
Florence looks over him. Do-do-do. My apologies, but it's been quite some time since I've been back home.
I used to call you Uncle, Florence, if that helps. You were quite close with my father.
Wait, you're your parents' kid.
That's
You're
right, sir.
Jarrett.
Yes. That's right, sir. Yes. It's good to see you.
Good to see you as well, my boy. Glad you are doing well. Last I heard, you had been knighted.
A little bit early, alongside a number of brave squires, yes. We
Yes.
we rallied to a call. Your son fought very bravely. You have much to be proud of.
Yes, well, I prefer he wouldn't have to fight at all. This is the way of
That's not
things.
the world. That's not the world we live in right now, but maybe someday, with luck and with the grace of God. I'm sure that it's no surprise to you that I couldn't help but witness your interaction with my uncle Virgil. What was that about?
Oh, old tensions, old wounded prides. It's nothing you really need to concern yourself about. Virgil is a good warrior, but a proudful man.
Certainly true. But he's family, as are you, in a way. So I find it, as the newly knighted head of Durnford Manor, it's important for me to look out for everyone I'm connected to. If there's any way that I can help resolve this thing, I'd like to do it. I'd rather not there be any more blood spilt, especially among countrymen.
That is a good way of thinking things.
I know since the king and my father passed, Britain's lacked a sense of unity. But I don't think that sense of unity has broken the bonds between us anymore. It's just circumstance. And if circumstance changed and allowed for more openness and sincerity between peoples, I think it's easy to forget how much work it takes to be the best versions of ourselves, I guess. I'm speaking nonsense. I'm young.
No,
but
I am in agreement in this. I think it's truly the sign of a noble heart. Your father would be proud.
So, he always said that he trusted your heart more than any other. Well, from what I can remember. That's why all this business with Cornwall, I know you wouldn't be doing any of these things without a good reason, and I know that Uncle Edrich wouldn't support you as much as he had if he didn't believe that you were doing what you thought was right. So, if I may, as a liaison between Devices and Durnford, or Devices and Idmiston, or Axe, have you considered being a friend to Virgil? I know he's probably rejected it in the past, but the people that he's surrounding himself with these days, I don't know.
I will see what I can do. If anything, I'd recommend you have this conversation with Edrich. He stands a better chance than I do. But I will do what you asked, under one condition.
I'd be happy to aid however I can. Or just as a favor to you, Florence. I mean, you're a legend, honestly.
Yes, well, legends so often disguise reality. But nonetheless, all I ask is that you see it within your purview to look after my son.
It'd be my honor, Florence. Sir, Florence, Uncle Florence?
Just call me Florence.
Welcome
I
in, Raiders.
suppose, as we are both knights, that's proper, right? We're equals now. Oh no, you are a baron. You're an earl. Oh God. I mean, and he does a little Hail Mary. Thank you. I'll see to it. I promise that your son will be safe as long as I'm around.
Thank you. Well, I wish you luck in all your future doings. It was good to see you again. Till we next meet, Jareth.
Awesome.
Good for me.
So for those that just popped in, just wanted to make a note. We're doing a very long Pendragon campaign here. We are 28 years into a 80-year campaign. Welcome in. And yeah, Pendragon's an awesome game. We're playing along with it.
We also continue Florence not knowing anyone's names.
Perfect.
Yeah, that was great.
Jareth. Yeah.
Jareth.
That's a,
Good job, Jareth.
I'm going to give Virgil
It's
a geniality and then give me a courtesy test on Jaren because it's possible he'll get 10 glory.
To add to his 1,000.
And
Yeah.
Lenny immediately runs into a table. Oh,
Yeah, so if you miss that, Liam, just you're going to do a courtesy test with Jaren. Not to see the outcome, but to see if you get the geniality.
Yeah.
To see if you get 10 glory, basically, with Jaren. Yeah, you do.
cool.
Then you can
That's
tick it.
Virgil, but that is Jaren.
Yeah.
Okay, so we move on to Florence, who is not known as Merlin, but you do know Brastius is here.
I'm going to find Sir Brasius, as we
Okay.
need to talk.
Sir Brastius, the former first knight of both Duke Orlo and then later Uther, is in fact present. You see him where you'd expect to see him, right beside Lady Violet, who has her favorite seat above or near the salt, just always prepared.
Right, with that, Florence would approach with a smile that goes, "Ah, Sir Brasius, good to see you. It's been quite some time, has it not?"
He turns, and there's less of like oh, look, my friend Florence, and there's more of like a begrudging look, and he says, yes. Sir Florence, Earl of Devon, you've made quite the name for yourself this year.
Indeed, I have.
Mostly infamy here in Logres.
Oh, fame and infamy. Different sides of the same coin. Do you mind if we speak?
Indeed. He'll step aside with you.
No. As they're gonna step her aside, he'd look around and go, "I'm afraid there's more than just pleasantries I'm here to see you of. There's something I need to inquire about."
Very well.
the daughter of Uther. The one that was in London.
She is in London.
Is she still in London?
Yes.
I need you to tell me all you can about her. It is a matter of life and death.
His eyes kind of look at Florence, and I think I'm going to need to make a suspicious roll with him.
No.
Let's see how bad this is. Oh, super fumble.
Oh,
Oh shit.
Trust me.
I know you to be a man of honor. I truffle man.
Okay, so I don't even need to test trusting. I just need to hear the words, Sir Florence, your oath, that what you did in all those years ago in assisting Merlin, that you stay by them today despite your loyalties in Cornwall. Do you still
He looks around
protect
for a moment.
the son of Uther Pendragon?
I serve the Pendragons, as I have always. I failed my king once. I will not do it again.
Very well. She is under the watchful eye of Lady Windflaith and her mother.
I don't know if you have probably heard about the death of the Winter Prince.
I have.
Know that it was the Praetor Zagreus. He seeks the end of the Pendragon line. But I have a plan. Though it will involve doing something that perhaps will be seen as traitorous.
I'm going to step back a minute too, by the way, with Brassius. There's one key thing. I think he doesn't say son of Uther Pendragon. I think he says heir of Uther Pendragon.
Yeah.
Because he has limited knowledge in this plane. He believes the Winter Prince was Arthur.
He just like me, real for real.
He's just
I
to
thought the
trust
guy
that
that
everything
died-
is going to work out.
I thought the guy that died was Arthur. What? Wait, was Arthur not Nanteleod?
Okay, so where did we leave off for this moment? Just to get back to it. I forget.
Praetor Zagreus seeks the end of the Pendragon line.
Aye.
What I will do to attempt to save it may be seen as traitorous. But you have to trust that this is part of the plan. The Pendragon will rise again.
I will not hold the common judgment against you, but I will not protect you with my own words. If you move to do something dishonorable, Florence, that will be on you.
I know. If history shall remember me as a villain, then let it be so. But I will do all I can to secure that the land is safe. And that the Pendragon is safe.
All right, we should get you to do an intrigue roll just to end this moment.
Yeah. Intrigue +3. Oh, not 32. Success.
All right, 2 more genealogy.
6.
Or did we already give you that?
He should be on 5 genealogy.
Okay, good. We got him.
I do get 1 for the card, though.
Oh, yeah, you get a
Oh,
bonus.
yes, that's right.
Do you want to just put that card up in the top right-hand
6.
corner? Just to make sure it's
Yes.
still active.
Do, 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 do.
Let's move it over. We'll move it over here.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to move to Hugin next.
All right. So Hugin, I'm sure he's had a drink or two, some liquid courage, because he's going to go talk to that lovely lady that he happened to step between.
Nice, very
with it.
nice. Teganwin.
Yeah. It's Teganwin.
Teganwin. Yeah, Teganwin is probably.
He can win.
Teganwin. And I think he is going to bring over 2 cups of wine and set one down in front of her and say, "Sorry to bother you, but I was wondering if you are interested in a few boring stories of heroics on the battlefield and other such nonsense."
Well, you know what? Before we go any further, what is your stated feast action? Is it flirt?
Flirt.
Okay.
It's a flirt or battle. One of the two.
Why do you roll flirting +7?
All right. Well,
I believe in you. Yeah. That would have been a crit.
Would have been a crit.
Would have been a crit.
You know what? You're an early character, so we'll give you the 5 genie. We'll give you the crit equivalent right now.
I'll give you 5 glory.
Oh, he already had flirting checked for some reason. He must do this a lot.
That's weird. I guess we had Easter this year. Certainly wasn't on the battlefield, I don't think. But
It's a very interesting tactic.
I'd make a note just so someone remembers. Remind me to add something that's a chat interaction that allows people to turn what would have been a crit but wasn't because of a bonus back into a crit for a small amount of points. That would be a good chat interaction. So, but anyways, we're back to Hugin. She says, "Of course, and you came to my aid swiftly earlier. That night really was crude."
The night really was Cornish, and they have a certain temperament after the last battle. I can tell.
Yes, the Cornish. Favored by all, she says.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I think a bit of their hubris is going to be their downfall, but, well, I guess we shouldn't speak too much ill of our favored guests of the night.
Yes, I did see Sir Florence was over there.
Oh, yes, I thought there were swords going to be brandished tonight, but it looks like the excitement isn't quite there yet.
Perhaps in a few more drinks.
Perhaps. Speaking of drinks, then Hugin will cheers with her cups.
She does so as well. One thing I need to... She's arbitrary as hell, but she also has an honor of 19. It's like a female version of Virgil or something.
I say what I mean, and I mean what I say, but only when I want to.
Go by the wind. All right. Is there anything else?
We can keep...
Yeah. Roll a d10 for me. I just want to see, because you haven't had a lot of spotlight on young Hugin yet.
D10. Yeah, and so Hugin, even though he's flirting, I think he's intentionally taking things like humorous and surface level and slow because he still kind of is slightly a mama's boy and has to talk to Lady Lila before getting into anything serious as far as like relationships go.
Right, that makes sense. 2D100.
2D100.
So she'll just say, after this Christmas feast, we'll be returning back to Silchester proper. And if you wish to see me again, and perhaps you could make a suggestion to treat at Silchester come Easter.
You know, I think it best our peoples reinforce the alliance that we have. I can see what I can do.
Perfect. All right, so we move from Hugin to round 3. We'll try to zoom through this, folks, because we're getting late. We don't want to go too long, so let's see if we can speed this round up a little bit. As we go into round 3, it is Edric's turn.
Draw some cards, baby. The fastest thing I can think of. Okay, got a generous knight, a rich and generous knight. Ask you about your circumstances at home. I'm fine. Old friends, an old knight who is a friend of your father tells you some good stories. How many of them can there be at this point? I'm 45. Any knight who was a friend of my father would be in their 60s. Ladies quarrel, just versus arbitrary, and more food. I don't like more food. I think I'm going to do ladies quarrel. I'm going to roll just versus arbitrary, and my arbitrary is higher.
All right, let's see it.
That's a failure on just. And a critical on arbitrary.
Arbitrary
So,
goes up
on
12 on top of this.
Yes.
Okay. Ooh.
I side with one lady. Roll 1d6. On a 6, an angry husband or other male friend of the other lady challenges you to a contest or duel.
All right.
Not a 6. Damn. It's been so long since I faced an honor duel.
Well, since Brasius was away talking to Florence, it's going to be Lady Violet and Lady Leo. So we're just going to add some more drama here, mix some stuff up. So Virgil's wife and Lady Violet get into a little bit of a tuss. And who do you side with?
I've never known Lady Violet to be incorrect about anything, and Lady Lilo hasn't had a dinner for a while because she's murderously opposed to Saxons. So Lady Violet's probably correct.
You are
Okay.
digging that hole even deeper, my friend.
All right. So
How dare you be correct and side with someone other than my wife?
It's probably wrong.
Okay, yeah. So there's a little bit of an exchange. Is there anything else? There's no other negatives, right? So you'll just end up with
No other negatives.
one additional geniality.
Yeah.
All right. And yeah, we'll make a note that Violet and Lilo had some beef, but not for feasting. Instead,
Indeed.
they had venison and frumentary. Frumenty?
Venison's kind of like beef.
Yeah, it's close enough. Okay.
It's faster beef.
We go to Virgil. Virgil, last round, friend.
Virgil, well, he's having a bad day. He got what he needed to do, which is yell at Florence, and Florence did not offer to give him, I think, close to 1,000 librum on the spot. So
You literally went, fuck
really,
you, give me money.
Really? He didn't even say that. He just implied that you maybe should have done that, and then you didn't, and then he's walked away. Oh, he called you a coward too. But besides that, I think it's feast card time. But none of he's not seeking any of these things out. If they hit him, that's because they're coming to him. All right, let's go. That's gossip. A lady's favor. Can it be my wife's favor, please? A chivalrous wife. And damaged goods. These offer little to no geniality, which is very funny to me. Gossip, you overhear some interesting conversation. Lady's favorite, a lady needs a knight to challenge another knight in a contest of honor.
I mean, that would line up so
your wife
well
did
with
just-
Edrich, like just stepping in and interrupting their exchange.
I'm leaning that one. Chivalrous life doesn't really make sense unless we were to use the true knight virtues. Damaged goods. Piece of jewelry snags on a hanging passing cloak and is in danger of getting lost. What's my dex? Okay, let's do lady's favor.
Okay,
I'm not
now
good at
here's a
any of those
question.
things. Yeah.
Do you want this to be about what just happened with Violet and your wife, or do you want this to be something that's happening to Orale?
I think. Oh, my mistress. My current ex-mistress.
Or do you want to determine
that's-
randomly?
I say let's do it randomly.
Okay.
Or actually, wait, I got a great idea. I can test my passions for them.
Okay. There
Uh,
won't be a tick on this, but it's an
uh,
interesting way to do it. I'll acknowledge it.
Yeah. Love Orale is a success at 15. Or it's at 5 out of 16. And Love Lilo is
Oh.
a success out of 4 out of 15. So I say Orale.
Yep. So Orale is in some kind of predicament where probably a drunk knight tried to get handsy with her. And so, well, your wife's distracted across the hall getting in her own fight. She heads to you. She's like,
Let's fuck up my life even more. Let's go.
Oh man, Virgil.
When she arrives, I think he probably hasn't seen her. Like, they've seen each other, but I don't think they've seen each other in a while. I think he clams up for a second. He goes, "Can I help you, Lady Orale?"
okay, just reading the card, I'll modify it a little bit. So he dude. What is the best of your 3 skills? What are you rolling against?
Between orate, singing, and play,
Yeah.
Orate's a 15 now.
Yeah. So
I don't even need to look at the other ones.
you know what this is? This is the King of the Bean just insulted her with a raptus, just 2 bars in a row. And also
For having a kid out of block.
Yep. And hinted at the failings of Durnford. And you find this out from her, not from... So they mention your house in like a hinting way. Not such a way that would be obvious, per se. But-
So... Okay, I know what I want to do here. Question, remind me, because it's been a while since we've had a King of the Bean. What does that mean for them? Like, what is the King of the Bean again?
They are putting on a persona right now. They are like a heckler, jester sort.
Gotcha.
Like
Gotcha.
it could be a cupid
Oh.
with an arrow. It could be all kinds of things. But this one is like almost like a jester. They're mocking people with their
Okay.
words. It would be very full paw to go up and like hit him. But to play at his own game against him would be, there would be very little penalty to it, which is why if he wins, it's only -1 geniality, right? So
I see. I think I know what's going on here. I think Virgil spends the last hour or so of the feast, like legit stalking, almost like a big cat, walking back and forth across the room while he's like listening to him interact with other people, listening to the things he says, what's most important to him, and think Virgil eventually, the guy is saying something funny and he just kind of turns around and in the circle now of like his little people is Virgil standing there, smiling, very calm. I think that's the thing that he turns to see. Can I ask you, may I use that love Oriel roll that I used to determine this as a passion roll for this?
No.
Can I roll it again?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Bada bing. I will take
Imagine
that.
if you had rolled went mad.
That was
It
me
would
trying to be
make
a fair
sense for
arbiter,
Virgil
but also
today.
being mad if it rolled, like, as a fan, being mad if it fails.
Hey, if it does fail, I think that would be pretty in character for Virgil at this feast to snap and then hurt this man. Right? Virgil kind of smiles and claps, and he's clapping a little bit louder than everyone else. And if I may introduce a little bit of narrative, I think everybody else gets kind of quiet, especially with how Virgil's been at this feast today. And he goes, "My, what a wondrous position you've won here today. Tell me, did you earn it through combat? Through virtue? What glory brought you to your position, my liege?"
Should we do a roll off first? See how this goes? Okay.
Yeah, I would love to do. That's a 15, Thomas, for glory purposes.
Thank
Yeah.
you kindly.
He hesitates. I think he's fully intimidated by Virgil, and he says, I thought you were across
No.
the room. No, it's okay.
By all means, keep talking, King. Show me exactly how suited to your role you are. You speak without fear. That's your job tonight, isn't it? So go on. Speak.
I think he gives the most sort of generic praise to Earl Robert, and it's like cowardly. And I think people kind of laugh at him. So there's this moment where this is more of like a Virgil's presence mixed with his words versus anything else as he backs up.
I'm actually going to give you a little bit extra, too. I think after that, that could have been victory. But I think Virgil, seizing the opportunity, smiles and goes, "What good is a jester who's afraid to speak his mind? There is no better person suited to your job than someone who's faced down charging horses, not of Saxons, but of other knights. You talk big about women and men in love, suffering for it. You don't suffer yourself, do you, sir? I say, as a crowd, it is our job to show the King of the Bean that humiliation can be just as painful for him as anyone else. Laugh, folks. Laugh at the coward."
We'll say this. I think if you move to complete and utter humiliation with this, it will negate some of the bonus. Because some of the bonus is about keeping this friendly, and I think it's going to move to like that awkward silence of,
Let's do
You
it.
would have gotten up to 5 geniality, but
Yeah.
now
Yeah, so I just want to check with you before you.
Yeah, Virgil's not.
Yeah.
Virgil's not doing this playfully.
Yeah.
That's not what's motivating. His passion is not dictating that he is doing this playfully. Someone that he actually cares about was hurt enough to approach him on it.
Yeah.
This is. I don't care. He doesn't care about the geniality here.
Okay. This fall to the dark side is great.
Yeah, so
it's not so much a fall as a sidestep, I'll admit.
he doesn't punch him.
Yeah, more of a lateral move.
Or body slam him, so that's a step in the right direction. There's still geniality
Exactly.
dished out.
It fumbled that passion.
And this Sir Fiken is his name, the King of the Bane. He will back off, and I think he actually leaves. Like, he runs away. He runs to his quiet place, and people like laugh, like they think it's part of the joke that he's like playing the role, but he's actually terrified as he runs off.
You
All
know,
right.
it's taken a long time for me to get Virgil to the place where I always imagined him. But here we
Right.
are, baby. It's-
We're there now.
And here's your cursed sword. Have fun.
Okay, we move to Florence for his last action.
All right, Florence. I think he's going to talk to Lady Jenna.
I mean, she's with you.
Let's see what. Yeah. No.
Sorry? Oh,
I goes, oh, so how have you been, Lady Jenna? I hope things have been well in your new home.
yes, quite well. How about you, Earl of Devon?
Devon is a fine place, and a fine people.
Indeed.
I relish my duty to guide them and look over them, ensure they are safe. I don't relish when I am forced to stand against my, well, people I have shared a home with. But I do as I am commanded, as any rightful knight would do.
Indeed. Sorry, Mark, can we get a understanding? What is your intention for this round?
He wants to learn a little more about Lady Jenna's feelings towards her family now that she's outside of the home in a different county.
Okay. That'll be an intrigue test.
Right.
You'll get the geniality regardless, but I will give her an intrigue test in return.
What do I have? 6.
Okay. Yeah, I think you've been spending most of the evening with her. She talks a little bit about her mother. She mentions that that Ellen is more passive than she'd like her to be. That she wishes she had spent more time with Robert, so Robert became less of a brazen fool, is kind of how she sees her brother. Now, these aren't exact words she's saying, because she doesn't want to be,
No.
in deep shit, but this is her feelings. And she talks about her uncle Rufus being a bit selfish and schemy, and she's not a big fan of him either. So she just says, like, after all of that, she kind of inhales and says, I miss my father.
We all do. He was a good man.
But Silchester is home now, and they treat me well.
Well, that is good to hear. I'm glad to hear you're adapting to your new home well. I hear stories of those who go off to marry in foreign kingdoms and find themselves out of place. You know, I must confess I'm not exactly happy with your brother right now either.
Well, is this to do with the previous scenarios, or is this to do with Wilton Town?
It used to do with the knighting of my child, my son, before he is ready.
Indeed. She's got to look like she knows something.
Can't imagine how such a thing happened.
That could let you in on a little secret, but I'm not certain you would
Yeah?
like the outcome of it.
Is that so? Now you have me curious.
I think your son would have found the opportunity to disobey you any way he could. He doesn't think fondly of you, Florence. I suppose that's not uncommon with those in their early squire years, to rebel. But it's also
Yes.
possible that with your reputation, you become a villain even in his eyes, or a scoundrel, perhaps. Perhaps villain strong.
Perhaps. I just want to see that he is safe. That is all. And being forced onto the battlefield as a knight when he is still a boy is the opposite of what I desire.
He would have leapt at the opportunity. He practically did.
That is what concerns me.
I can understand that. For what it's worth,
You know,
as much as the Earl dislikes you, you should know that it's doubtful he did that one just to be petty. He likely was oblivious to who he was even knighting.
probably. It is difficult. I'm sure you will realize this once you have children old enough to think themselves, well, the ones who have the greatest will in the world. But it is heartbreaking to think that that my son, will have to go through the same horrors I have.
Well, it's been an evening to remember, Sir Florence. I should bid you adieu. I hope that whatever is to follow, that we are not in opposition.
Indeed. We shall see how long that lasts. Until then, it's been a pleasant evening, and I wish you well.
She smiles, and she'll head off. So we gave you the geniality there. We move to Hugin for the very last action of the feast.
I think we can close this out on a light note. I think Hugin is going to go pester his favorite person to pester, which is Dame Rianne. I think last time she wasn't very talkative, so Hugin's just going to sit down, and maybe this will be a fun little awareness test or something. He's going to sit down next to her, and after a moment of silence, just point at one of the knights across the hall and say, "Sword," and point at another one. "Spear for that one."
All right.
Maybe a mace, and he points to another he points over to Caranog, who definitely uses a mace, and everybody knows that.
Okay. So you're like trying to call what weapon either they use or what they likely would fit best is kind of the game.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go with... I'll give you an awareness roll, but I need to know how this goes off. Awareness isn't usually a feast action, though. So let's...
Okay.
let's
We could test something else too.
Yeah, I'm like, this is a little game. I'll give you this. You could do games, or you could do like courtesy, or you could do temperate.
Temperate. Ew.
Probably courtesy or game would probably make more sense.
They're both pretty similar.
Or
Let's do gaming.
if you wanted to do it again, it could be flirting if that's what his intentions are, but it could also be one of the
You
other
stay
ones.
away from my relative and the person I
You know,
raised at knighthood.
Hey, he flirted with her before. I mean, it could be again. It's probably a mixture of flirting in there anyway. I think gaming. Let's do gaming. We don't see gaming rolls very often. So I got 5 geniality. He's just trying to find some more common ground with Anne.
Of course.
Ooh.
I think for whatever reason, because the last time it didn't work either, we'll say that like she plays along for like one round, and then it's almost like for a moment she looks like she's having an okay time, and then she's just not willing to let that moment go more than a moment, and she just says, "Excuse me, Sir Knight," and she walks away. Now I'm trying to remember age-wise. I think she's a little older than you, right? I think that math-wise.
Yeah, she'd be like 23 or
3.
25, something.
But she probably remembers you as a child a bit more than you remember her, because for a while, Jareth rolled over Humble Creek.
Yeah, I think we rolled a courtesy roll to see if Rand didn't like Hugon from that time, and he did make the courtesy roll, so
Okay.
they must have not had a horrible time.
Okay, and so I don't think this is her. This is just her trying to be a wallflower because she doesn't do well in these social settings. So it's like you're like, oh, come on, have some fun. Like for half a second, you see her having fun, then she's like, no, I will double down and have the worst time possible, and you can't get in my way of it. And
It'll be like,
yeah. So
This is my
right.
relative.
Hugon has, as he watches Damian walk away from all the fun they were having, he downs his drink and shakes his head. One more task onto the list.
And with that, we close out the feast. As we kind of cut into a couple of scenes from afar, we are going to be moving into the year 509, which is the very last episode.
very last episode of
Very last
Anarchy?
year. Very last year
Yeah.
of Anarchy. So what we know coming out of news across the land and beyond, it sounds that the once kingdom of Escavalon and all the lands and gales around it are strife in civil war, with mountain peoples rebelling. Nanteleod never naming a formal heir has resulted in some backing some would-be bastard of his, and others backing some would-be tribal leader or leader of the original tribes. The last heir of Catigern, son of Vortigern, died. It said he was ambushed and killed. There is some new army that's emerged out of Perilous Forest that has started to invade Norgales. On top of that, there's news that Lot and his armies have readied with Malahut in a new alliance. And more locally, we learn that Sir Hune, who is made reference to by Merlin, his castle was sacked over the late summer and early fall. All of its riches were taken, and Sir Hune and his men were set up on crucifixes.
It wasn't me, Merlin. I don't know why you're looking at me like that.
And with that, we will get our plans for early next year, the year 509, for the very next time. We will be seeing Gary back for some sort of finale, but it probably won't be next session. It'll probably be the session after. So just be prepared for that. And
I could kill him. I'm gonna kill that guy.
I'll probably need a little bit of insight to any big moves anyone's trying to do, any gotchas. So if you want, you can kindly throw those at me if they're secret, or you can talk about them as a group in the Knights of Salisbury. Merlin will be around through to Easter, so there will be some opportunity to catch him amongst the various people in Salisbury. Let's go ahead and do an outro, folks, because we're about 35 minutes past norm. We're going to go ahead and start with Thomas.
Hello and goodbye. I am Thomas, and it has been a pleasure. I've been Sir Edrich, Marshal of Salisbury, and Baron Vagon. It's been a delight. Back in the saddle, back in the position, and some of my best knights going insane from various reasons, all working for foreign nationals. But I always enjoy it, and it's a good time. We'll see if we can save Logris before everything gets set on fire.
Totally possible. You got this. Mark.
All we have to do is the perfect thing each time, every time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. I was just checking out our handy-dandy Discord. By the way, did you know we have a Discord? Come check it out. Lots of fun things on there, like shitposting and memes, and yes, that is a picture of a can of soup. As well as notifications on whenever we go live, as well as new projects we are working on or are affiliated with. For example, I was just on Crit Crafters doing the Power Rangers one-shot. That was last, I want to say Thursday? That was Thursday. Thursday, yeah. And this Thursday, I have the first episode of a new series I'll be running called Orphaned Blood, of which the trailer can be found on my YouTube channel. And yeah, join us for that at 9:30 EST for lots of vampiric fun as you get to see a bunch of unfortunate and abandoned caitiff try and survive a world that wants them dead. As well as that, I just finished up House of Tremere last Wednesday. So you can catch the backlog of that on my YouTube channel. Links can be found on my Twitch. The Cats Meow show. Yeah, come join me. I hope you enjoy Vampire, because that's currently what I'm doing at the moment. That's me.
Liam.
Hey, everybody, I am Liam. I played first Percy of the Black Dog, and then Virgil through, I think, the worst year of his life, which is a real shame because he was riding such a high right up into it. I'm weirdly sad to be parting with Virgil in the near future at the end of this year, but also I think it's time. I'm glad I got to play a little bit of Sir Jaren the Lesser as well, and I think it's a very nice. If you guys liked the one scene that he had today, get ready because that's going to be who I'm playing all the time soon.
Zach.
Hello again, Thomas 2 here. I played Sir Hugin of Newton Manor, who's involved with all kinds of shady characters now. They call them marshals and marshal number twos and Dame Brienne, very shady. So I had a blast digging into these things as a new knight in the crowd of all these veterans, and it's kind of fun poking things and seeing how much you shouldn't poke before you're beheaded. And I guess that's the life of a new knight with all these people around. But yeah, looking forward to next time.
Awesome. All right. And I'm Bob. I run Bob's Arthuriana, which is Pendragon on Sundays, on Tuesdays, and on Fridays, all set in the same world. If you like what we do here, please come check us out elsewhere. It's worth seeing. We are 4 years going on 5 of playing this game, and that's real life years, by the way. And we are about 28 years into an 80-year chronicle, which means 2 things. 1, we've played a lot of sessions per year, and 2, we need to change that going into the next chronicle. But I do intend to play this before I die in real life. So that is a goal. I want to check this off the list. This is the grand campaign, one of the most notable campaigns that exists in all role-playing, really. It's up there with Mass of Nyarlathotep and a lot of the other sort of renowned chronicles across various games. Encourage you to check it out if you've never played. Yeah, Strahd.
But more.
Right? But a lot longer. All right. And with that, you can also catch us for Daggerheart. Am I getting that right? Yes. I don't know why that blanked. It's getting super late. But we're doing Daggerheart on Saturday. It'll be Mark, the Cat's Meow, and Cyberbro, and myself, who will be doing GM Roulette. So each of us will be running one episode and then handing it off to the next person to run. Come check us out on Saturday if you're interested. And there is an announcement for October. We'll be inviting a guest GM on board to do Delta Green. And right now, Thomas and I will be playing that. Saturdays will be our new small series rotation where we try a bunch of different games and kind of broaden our variety. So we're not always doing Pendragon exclusively here, even though I love the game.
I'm definitely excited for both of those. I've been really into Daggerheart lately, and I wanted to play Delta Green, even though I don't think I would enjoy the system itself. So I'm very excited to watch you guys do it.
Very good, very good. All right, just hang out a little bit. We're going to be passing on the love to someone else via raid. So just hang on tight as I put us in the BRB screen, and we'll find a friend to raid. Thanks again to Dork Tales and Rainy V2 for coming in and raiding. Much appreciated. Check those communities out. They're fantastic.